Blog Talk Radio.
Your balls are showing.
There are two types of balls. There are big brave balls, and there are little meat balls. Your dicks have drive and clarity of vision.
The most important piece of equipment is called the cup. Now, it ain't no Dixie cup, and it ain't no coffee mug. And you certainly won't want to be drinking nothing out of it.
Hey, any balls down there?
The biggest berry you ever seen, Dingleberry.
Wow, I play with these balls all day.
Well, it's my balls and my word, and I don't break them for no one.
He's one of those guys who will get penetration.
Hey everybody, welcome to a special Tuesday night edition of Big Balls Fantasy Football. I'm your host, Greg Reifsteck, the beast of the beauty and the beast of fantasy football. Week 5 is long gone, and Jenilee, our beauty here, is going to review with me fantasy football and the NFL in Week 5 this week. We're also going to talk about what we have talked about on our video cast. The quarterbacks are the dominant player this season, not the running back, not the tight end, not the wide receiver, the quarterback, and we're going to tell you some you should pick up and some you should get rid of. You can call and listen to us live at 646-716-7132 with your fantasy questions, or listen to the show on the phone if you can't listen online. Did you get Manninged like a lot of other people this week? A lot of people got Manninged by Peyton Manning in the mega game that we're going to talk about between Denver and Dallas, but I'm talking about the Dallas part of this. Over 500 yards for Tony Romo. Over 500 yards. Unbelievable, stellar performance. A lot of fantasy managers had to catch up. 50, 60, 70 points. Crazy. We're also going to discuss future matchups this week in Week 6 coming up in our FYI segment. Stuff like Freeman getting cut from the Buccaneers, going to Minnesota. Matt Flynn getting cut by the Raiders. Jenilee's going to give her real man. I'm going to give my beast mode as usual. And Packerbacker PROST from San Diego is going to give us his one-hit blunder prediction this week. Also, our balls to the wall injury report. Cash from Texas, but a Bear fan, but sometimes a Dallas Cowboy fan. Our Lone Star correspondent is going to give you his unorthodox picks, his gambles of the week. And don't forget, we give you different Week 6 lineup picks on our weekly video cast at youtube.com/bigballsfootball. It's youtube.com/bigballsfootball, or just type in Big Balls Fantasy Football on there. Our channel will come up. You can tweet us at BigBallsFball, or go to our Facebook page at facebook.com/bigballsfantasyfootball. If you just want to save time and go to one place, bigballsfantasyfootball.com has links to everything and all our old videos and everything. So, now that I can exhale, let me get Jenilee, my lovely co-host, on. How you doing, babe?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. Gee, why don't you tell everybody why we're broadcasting on a Tuesday? Where are you calling from?
I am from Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
Calling from Chicago.
Yeah, why are you calling from Chicago? What are we doing this week?
Because we are going to the Bears game on Thursday.
Damn straight. Hopefully the Giants don't find themselves and we can just clobber the crap out of them so we can find ourselves again after the last 2 weeks, for crying out loud. Oh, my God. I mean, what'd you think of the performance of the Bears against the Saints this week?
It just was very uneven. The defense performed well in the first half, and then the offense couldn't do anything, and then the offense came back in the second half and tried to make a game of it, but it was too little too late. The defense was, tired and just not able to stop Jimmy Graham. So, we just can't seem to get everybody to play good at the same time.
Yeah, and once again, it's just our defense not playing a consistent whole game and letting a lot of points go. And I know it is Drew Brees. Yeah, I know it's the Saints, but for crying out loud, you've got to hold the opponent to low points, otherwise you're going to be playing catch up or getting into a shootout like we did with the damned Lions, at the end, trying to hold on. But there was some fantasy goodness coming up, and I think your beast and my beast are both going to tell that story. So we'll save, I think, the stat line of the good players from that. So, we are going to the game on Thursday. We will be there. We're going to go to Timmy O'Toole's over in Streeterville beforehand. We'll be there probably about 3 o'clock, meeting and greeting our Big Balls fans. And then we are going to tailgate our asses off. You looking forward to tailgating at Soldier Field, Jenilee?
Oh, I am for sure. I'm looking forward to the whole day. You have a great day planned for us. So we have a bar, tailgating, the game. I'm probably going to be worn out by the end of it.
Yeah, hey man, but when you have one day of beautiful football in Chicago, you have to take advantage of it. And we of course, when we're going big ball style, we're not gonna sit in one of those luxury boxes inside the glass. We have our tickets up in the 10th row of the top level, and we're gonna be hanging with the real people, and we're gonna have just a hell of a lot of fun. So let's get to quarterbacks, and I think this is where you'll. We talked about this on the video cast about this is the year of the quarterback in fantasy because the running backs that most of them that went in the first round have either A, gotten injured, or B, just underproducing their ass off. Doug Martin, and have any other running backs you'd like to cough about there, Jenilee, that might have disappointed you this year?
Oh, well, I know you're disappointed with Stephen Ridley, and a lot of people are disappointed with David Wilson. I know Ray Rice got injured. So, there were just definitely a few of the running backs that were taken very, very early that, have not panned out to this point. There's a lot of football to go, but they haven't really done a whole lot.
Right. Yeah, there's always we're only a third of the way into the season, but a third of the way in, we on our video cast, you have to go and watch it on our YouTube channel. We laid down the stats of some quarterbacks that are just balling, but as we talked about when we did our draft shows, you can pick up any quarterback and start them right now. There are still a few stragglers out there that you are going to get 2 touchdowns out of, 200 yards, maybe 300 yards if it's up against a weak defense. So why don't you give us a few quarterbacks, Jenilee, that we should pick up off of the waiver wire that still might be effective, that aren't the Peyton Mannings or the Phillip Rivers or the obvious choices?
Absolutely. And, I always say that it really depends on how you draft it, because if you have very strong wide receivers, running backs, a good defense, maybe a super good tight end, you really only need your quarterback to get you about 20 points a week if those other players are performing. So if you don't have a quarterback that can get you 40 points a week, then, like we were saying, there are a couple out there that can at least maybe get you around, 17 to 20. One of the quarterbacks this week that I think is going to perform better because he's at home is good old Wacko Flacco. I think Joe Flacco is going to perform well this week. Now, I'm not sure, he's probably not an every week play, but he's playing Green Bay at home this week. And the Ravens' defense has been playing quite a bit better, so I think that's helping him out. And another one that I would say, again for this week, except this one might be a little bit better throughout the season, is, Jake Cutler. I think the offense is going to get it together a little bit more. And he did throw for over 300 yards last week. He didn't throw any interceptions. So if he can keep his interception numbers down, then he could actually be a decent quarterback, going further into the season.
Yeah, I mean, you make a really good point there. These are 1 or 2 week quarterbacks. We're in our bye weeks now, and it's getting rough. I mean, I don't have Matt Flynn at my disposal this week, who's pretty consistent, even though his team is in decline, and we'll get to a big reason why it's going to go further into decline in PROST report, I'm sure. But, yeah, I mean, these are just stopgap guys, and I agree with you. Get the points that you need. Let your other really big marquee players do their jobs if you have them, and ride with it. So I'm going to give a few that you really need to get rid of. The first one, I know he's put up halfway decent numbers, but his coach is now giving up on him, which means he might get replaced. Matt Schaub just looked like crap on Sunday evening against the Niners. And when you get all these reports that your coach has lost faith in you, we know, the whole Dirty Sanchez problem. We know the Alex Smith back when he was on San Francisco problem. Once the coach wants to pull the plug and puts Yates in late in the game to try and right the ship, you're in deep shit. So I think you should either trade him and gets out of maybe that he has very little value left because he might not be playing too many more weeks, or I think you get rid of him. The other one is, and I hate to say this because we were predicting he was going to do really well, but he just hasn't picked it up on his new team. He did the first week and has just been in decline, is Carson Palmer in Arizona. I don't know if it's, I think it might be the line, he has Fitzgerald. Andre Roberts hasn't panned out. So he hasn't had a lot of weapons down there. The running game is pretty crappy, so he doesn't really have any backup there. So he also has San Francisco and Seattle coming up as opponents. So I don't think you want to have him the next few weeks. Dump him down on the waiver, let him be somebody else's problem, pick up somebody that's a little more consistent. So what do you think of those, Jenilee?
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you on Palmer. He has talent, to be able to produce in fantasy, which is, why we suggested him earlier in the year. But again, of course, what you just said, their line is bad, their running game is bad. So I think that, it's not so much about him lacking the talent, it's just about that he lacks the talent around him to be able to help everyone out in fantasy.
Indeed. Well, let's switch gears and talk about some people that definitely have some talent. You ready to give us your real men?
Absolutely. Let's get into it.
Play it.
I need a real man. Have you seen him? I haven't found him. Baby, could you be him? Baby, could you be him? I'm searching and always working. Always. You find the right one. I can't take just anyone. Who's my real man? We're just not gonna rush and keep it on the high.
Okay, so I have real men for you guys again this week, and of course, a couple of these picks are different than the video cast, so as always, go to our video cast to get all of the picks. My first real man for you guys is running back Alfred Morris. Now, I know he's not a running back that has produced as well as people thought again this year, but he is coming off of a bye. He did practice on Monday, so look to see if he's going to for sure be playing. but he does have a good matchup this week, and if he's not in, then pick up Roy Halou for these same reasons that I'm about to mention. They played Dallas this week, and Moreno had 93 yards, so almost 100 yards, and a touchdown against Dallas. And Morris is definitely a much better back than Noshawn Moreno. So if he's in there, he should be able to break 100 yards. Also, the Cowboys have given up 118 fantasy points to running backs so far. So that's a lot of points over, only 5 weeks. And this is basically, a must-win division game for the Redskins. They're a run-first offense, and they're going to have to keep that balance going to try to win this game. Their record is so bad that this is a division game that they really need. So, do you like that pick?
Oh yeah, I mean, I've been struggling with Morris a little bit, but I mean, he's due for a breakout game. He's just due for it. So, I mean, rivalry game, it should be fun. He should put up some points.
Absolutely. And so my second real man for you guys is the Bengals defense. They are actually 8th in the league so far, so they are performing pretty well, through the first 5 weeks of the season. What's really impressive is that they held New England to 6 points last week. So I know the Patriots aren't the Patriots that we're used to, but to hold them to 6 points is really impressive. They had 4 sacks, an interception, and a fumble recovery, so that's where you're going to be getting your fantasy points. And they play Buffalo this week. Buffalo is just a mess on offense. They have no E.J. Manuel, a banged-up Stevie Johnson. So pretty much all the Bills have is a running game, and the Bengals are 10th in the league against the run. So, I don't know what the Bills are really going to expect to get done, but I think Bengals D should get you some fantasy points.
I like that one a lot, and one of my beasts is a Bengal for the same matchup reason against the lowly Bills. So I definitely think you'll get some defensive points.
Nice. And then my third real man for you guys is tight end Vernon Davis. And he looks like he's pretty much healed up from that hamstring injury so far. He did have 88 yards and a touchdown last week, and that was against Houston's defense. And we know Houston's offense is a mess, but their defense is still pretty good. They don't give up a lot of fantasy points to tight ends. And this week he's playing Arizona's D. They give up the 4th most fantasy points to tight end. Greg Olsen actually had 5 receptions and 79 yards against them last week. But I think Vernon Davis will have a really good chance at getting in the end zone because he's one of Kaepernick's favorite targets. The San Francisco wide receivers are still really banged up, and he's around the 10th best tight end in fantasy. So I think he's a guy that, if he's out there on the field for them, you just have to start him.
I like that one a lot too. I like it, and because he's one of the weapons they have at their disposal, right now, and he just keeps going to him, and they keep going to him, and they keep going to him. I mean, they were suffering when they didn't have him. So, I mean, I definitely think that's a great real man. So, thanks for all of them. I am going to bring on Prost. How's it going, man?
Hey, it's going pretty good. What's up?
Hey, how was your week in Packerland?
Oh, it was wonderful. Yeah, I mean, everyone's like, oh, yeah, Detroit's got a tough team. Like, no, they don't. It's all right. Even Megatron could not have helped them. Packers just went out and did what they had to do. It was at home. It might have been a different story if it was in Detroit, but at home, Green Bay is nearly as tough as Seattle is as far as, sort of team to beat.
But no, it wouldn't have been that rough of a loss. I mean, it would have been a lot different. I mean, there was nothing weirder than waking up and all of a sudden it's like Megatron isn't playing. Whoa, that was just huge. You must have been just like licking your chops, man.
Oh, I knew it was definitely over because with Megatron you got your top corner and you roll a safety over to help. well, now that safety's able to play all over the field again, come up on run defense, the game is essentially over. And Green Bay showed it was. Their offensive line impressed me too. After watching what Farley and Sue did to the Bears and Cutler, I was pretty impressed that Green Bay's line kept Rodgers relatively clean. It was a good game overall. Yeah.
So, quarterbacks, how they've been doing on your teams, and do you have any quarterbacks you would say this season you'd pick up or you'd dump at this point in the season? Because running backs have been a dime a dozen this year. Quarterbacks have been, the mainstay for points.
I have the extreme fortune of jumping on the Peyton Manning bandwagon in a good number of my leagues, which is one of the reasons I've got such a decent record. You can pretty much just throw anybody else out there with Manning throwing his 60 points, 80 points a game. But what I'm looking at is the situation in Minnesota. It's definitely up there on the ball scale. Matt Castle came in and got Minnesota their first win against arguably a weaker team. When you look at Ponder's stats, I mean, he didn't do anything. They're so desperate they brought Freeman in as a number 3 quarterback, and I think what they're doing is taking an airsoft rifle to Ponder's ribs to make sure he stays out. I think the experiment's over. It's his third year. White was supposed to have come on. So if you've got bye week issues, if you're nervous about Matty Ice and his problems with having no one to throw to when they come out of their bye, then Castle's someone to at least consider and keep an eye on.
But, I mean, we also have a new quarterback over there, too.
Yeah, Josh Freeman is over there.
Yeah. That tells you just how bad Ponder is.
Exactly.
That little experiment's over.
Yep.
Well, and with them, just to kind of butt in here, but with them paying Freeman, $3 million for one season, to me that sounds like they're going to want to get him, in there starting at some point. Maybe in a couple weeks or 3 weeks, or I'm not sure, but it just seems like if they're paying him that money for one season, they're going to want him to actually play.
Oh yeah, I think that's the whole reason they picked him up. I mean, Castle, he did well, but like Pro said, against kind of a weaker team. I mean, they're monitoring that whole situation. I mean they have the luck of having AP is well and healthy, and they're able to screw around a little bit at the quarterback because they have such a solid running game. So, what the hell? Everybody thought that Freeman was going to go to the lowly Raiders, but, I mean, I think they're sticking with Pryor. And yet again, a quarterback that if you were to pick him up this week will get you points. He runs all over the place. There's no line, so he's running for his life. I just think there's a lot of possibilities out there. So let me get us into beast mode. Everybody ready for Godzilla?
Bring it.
All right. Thank you, Godzilla. Okay, let's get into it. My first beast of the week is Alshon Jeffrey, for crying out loud. 218 yards and a touchdown in the loss with the Saints. Before that, he went 5 for 107 and a touchdown against the Lions in our loss there. He is the new safety, valve for Cutler because Marshall is just getting double teamed. Marshall's not open. They're putting up schemes to stop him, and Jeffrey has become a better route runner. So, I mean, I made the mistake of not believing in him and dumping him in one of my leagues, and now I am scurrying to get him back, and hopefully because I had a bad loss last week in that league, I can grab him up off the waiver wire and be good in the waiver order. So, Jenilee, what do you think? We're gonna see Jeffrey go off live or what?
Well, he definitely has had a good, like you said, the last 2 weeks have been really good. I picked Marshall in the video cast this week only because of the fact that I think defenses are going to have to start respecting Jeffrey a little bit more and covering him a little bit better. But, we play the Giants. We're at home. I really hope that our entire offense just goes off this week. So hopefully either guy in your lineup is good.
We're there. They know we're coming to town. It isn't like when I went with Prost to Lambeau Field, for crying out loud. And what did Brett Favre do at Lambeau when we finally made it there in the deathly cold of December? What did Favre do, Prost?
Oh, he stuffed it in the 20 below. A team from Southern Florida won that game. It was amazing. Byron Leftwich went 20
off.
below is just the ambient temperature. It was 65 below with the wind chill, I think. Remember that night walking out of the bar when the wind hit us, right back into the bar again?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Bears are gonna win because we're there, for crying out loud. My second beast is Dalton on the Bengals. Again, playing the Bills defense. I know he only has about 5 touchdowns this year, but he has 1,215 yards. He's coming off a win against the Patriots. I'm sure the team's a lot more confident after that. I agree with you, Jenilee, in the fact that, the Patriots, you still have to respect them, and now we have Gronk coming back this week, and Amendola, is a little gimpy, of course, because, he's always gimpy because he's always coming off an injury. But I think Dalton has a lot of weapons, and you got to respect that too. And I think his points are possibly going to go up. They'll get some confidence against the Bills. What do you guys think of that one?
What do you think, Prost?
Oh, I'm digging Cincinnati. I drafted their defense in every live draft I had, and haven't let me down yet. They've been pretty impressive, and Buffalo is Buffalo. They look good, but they're showing their true colors as the season wears on.
Now then, my final beast. I have a bone to pick with you on my one of my beasts from last week, Prost. And I'm going to try again because I know you can't predict this guy as a one-hit blunder because you put the whammy on Hoyer last week, dude. What the hell, man? Because we butted heads on that one, and I picked him as a beast, and you picked him as a one-hit blunder. You crippled the guy, as you like to do usually to running backs, but you did it to a quarterback this time, dude. What do you have to say for yourself?
I got skills. That's all I tell you.
If a running back goes on Prost's lineup, he will die eventually. Like, seriously,
I'm gonna start posting my teams online, to avoid for the week. Although I've been lucky, my backups. My fantasy records are pretty impressive so far this year. I'm somewhere like 20-8 or something like that in 6 teams. I'm doing real well, but we'll see what happens.
So on that note, I am going with Whedon on the Browns. For the same reasons I went with Hoyer last week. Solid defense there on the Browns, surprisingly solid defense. He has Cameron, he has Gordon to go to, weapons, playing the Lions, who have let a lot of points go in their losses and victories. He got 197 yards and a touchdown coming in for Hoyer, unexpectedly. I think he can at least double that in touchdowns, get you a few touchdowns. Again, this is probably, this is one of our, 3 to 4 on the ball scale injury situation from the starter. Put this guy in, he's the next in line, and I know he was inconsistent last year, but I think the matchup's pretty good with the Lions. Let's tango. What do you guys think of that one? You gonna kill him this week, Prost?
No. All I got, there's a reason that he lost his job to Hoyer. All we can hope is that it put a chip on his shoulder and got him in the film room studying and got him, doing a little bit more than it takes to be a quarterback of a team, and he'll learn from his bench and come out and be a badass. That's all we can hope.
Yeah.
Well, and this is another situation that, like you said earlier, we're in the bye weeks, And it depends on how deep of a league you're in. If you're in an 8-person league or something, quarterbacks aren't a problem. If you're in a 16-person league, then, you definitely might have to just go find someone and play the matchup. So, definitely in that situation, he's probably worth a pickup.
And on that note, talking about taking gambles, we have our gambling man here. Hey, how's it going, Cash?
Guys, hello.
Hey.
Hey.
Breakfast. It's another week. Unfortunately, it's another Bears loss, but my spirits are still up as we're facing the lowly winless Giants on Thursday night.
We're going to be there. That's why they're going to win. They're going to see Jenilee up in the stands, and they're just going to win. It's just the way it's going to go.
I can't argue against that. Correct? That not going Jenilee. But yes, I do have my gambles of the week ready to roll. My first one.
All right,
here
we're ready to go.
Geno Smith of the revived New York Jets. Here's a guy who, people kind of question whether this was the right move or not, and all the troubles going on with Ryan and Mark Sanchez, and a number of people predicted this Jets team will probably have a pretty down year, and maybe Ryan will even get fired. Here comes Geno Smith, just kind of shrugged his shoulders, played, took his bumps, and on Monday Night Football against the team, Atlanta Falcons, who were desperate for a win to hold, to hang on to their playoffs hopes, not Super Bowl hopes, kind of dashed all over them with I believe it was a 30-28 victory, and having 3 touchdowns, no picks, and having some ungodly rating of 145 QBR. So he's my steal this week, and I think it'll be a big gamble too.
He is. He is definitely a gamble because he's been up and down. But it's either one of two things. Either he was a complete stud last night, or the Atlanta defense was just that horrible. And time will tell, and that's why it's kind of like a 4 on the balls scale. And I like rolling with him. What do you guys think?
I think that he has to be learning since he has been the starter since the beginning of this season. So I think that's a really good thing. The fact that he didn't throw any interceptions is great. So, hopefully every week he practices and plays, he's learning a little bit more and getting more comfortable being a starter. And, hopefully it pans out.
All right, give us your next one, Cash.
The next one, some people in the past couple of years have had him real high, but sticking with the New York Jets defense. Really, the reason being, a lot of times the offenses and the defenses have a bit of a complementary relationship. If you have a good offense, that helps your defense out, and if you have a great defense, it actually affects your offense as well too. So, with Geno playing better, as well as the offense playing better, it really, it shows that the defense is actually, kind of coming around, holding its own. Again, they didn't play all that badly against the Falcons on the road. And I think there'd be somebody, if you are especially in need of a bye week defense, there's somebody to pick up.
That's what I think of that one. Good one.
Yeah, I was going to pile with the Geno Smith thing, and the fact that the defense is keeping him in a good position. You can't make mistakes when you're on the sidelines, and when they're getting the ball, they're not back to their own goal line. They're not 20 points down, forced to throw. The best asset Geno Smith has right now is the Jets defense performing the way they are.
Definitely. What's your third one, Cash?
Just a note on, just seems like just injuries have been maybe more, than this so far this year than most other years. We can talk about that later. And then poor Atlanta Falcons have Julio Jones going down for the season. Way
to step on pro segment there, man. I like it. Yeah.
You got hurt.
Sorry. But
I'll just cross that one off. Moving on.
I take in tune with the current events.
Yeah.
Go on, Cash. Go on.
But I'm actually going to go with Garrett Graham, who has actually been a pretty good tight end. Essentially has 3 touchdowns and a couple of touchdowns. But the reason I like him because Owen Daniels is going to be out, I believe, for a few weeks. And Garrett's already ranked like the number 13 tight end. But, he's going to be the go-to guy for whoever Houston Texans put in as their quarterback. And I say that because Matt Schaub is also on thin ice.
Hey, Jenilee, do you know of any injuries you want to say before we get into pro segment at all?
No, I'm not going to spoil any injuries, but I do.
We got a couple more left.
I know, but I got to give you something to talk about. No, I'm just kidding. I do like the pick of Graham. There aren't a lot of good tight ends out there, really, in most leagues. So most of the good ones that are scoring points are already taken. So he is most likely on the waiver wire, and you can go get him.
I like it too. Thanks a lot for those, Cash. All very, very high on the ball scale, just where we like them. So, since we've already given 2, hey, Prost, why don't you give us our balls to the wall injury report and give us a few of the other biggies this week. Why don't you give us the recap on Mr. Jones?
Yeah, with the aforementioned Jones, I mean, he was playing until the fourth quarter, and he limped off the field, and they figured out he had a broken foot. They're going into their bye week, which is going to give Roddy White's hamstring a chance to heal, but they're running out of targets in Atlanta, and I know Julio Jones will getting a second opinion, but they're going to say, yeah, your foot's still broken, I'm pretty sure. Owen Daniels broke his leg. He's out. Matt Schaub was already, that was his safety valve he lost, so that took care of that. Rolling back into the technical difficulties we had last week, I didn't get a chance to mention Freeney for San Diego being knocked out, or Vince Wolf for New England, and the importance of these keystone players on your defensive line. And both of those teams lost and looked miserable without their key players, which brings us to my boy Matthews breaking his thumb trying to tackle Stafford. He's going to be out for 4 weeks at least. We're going to see what happens with him.
What's the matter with him? I mean, our Bear players, when we take out Stafford, we take out Stafford. Stafford took out your guy. What the hell, man?
Yeah, you know what I haven't figured out too is they put these big horse clubs on these guys, and they wrap up. So you can't grab anybody with it, but you could probably at least get in the way and disrupt and whatever. So something we're being kept in the dark. We're getting Belichick on this one. I think they're not giving us the whole story as to why he can't put a cast on that thing and play with it. So we're going to see what happens. Maybe they figure 4 weeks sitting out, is better than losing him for the duration of the season.
Yeah,
but it looks like he got a bent back in because he was falling over when he tackled him. But then we roll on to the other Matthews in the league, the oft-injured Ryan Matthews, who's got concussion.
Shocker.
Yeah, I know. Which the San Diego Chargers are just, something happened to them. Someone turned the switch off. He was on his way to the bench, I for being an unproductive running back before he got his cranium knocked off, so I don't know what's going on there. Our favorite Fumbles Wilson from the Giants is going to miss Thursday because of a neck injury. Another one of those deals where there's no time to recover when you play on Thursday. Maybe he could have gone on Sunday, but as it is now, he's going to get 2 weeks off instead of 1. Michael Vick strained hamstring. We'll see how that responds. Was that Nick Foles, who I was a big proponent of last year. He's going to be getting the nod in that game more than likely. Christian Ponder coming off the bye still has bad ribs, probably because Greg Jennings has an airsoft rifle and shoots him from across the room.
What restaurant did he get those bad ribs from, Prost?
I must be one of those chicken and waffle places. I don't know. He's been down for 2 weeks because of it. That's okay.
Oh, man. Those must have been some really horrible ribs. That must have been some really bad food poisoning, man.
Yeah. And then, of course, we have the largest injury that happened to be a guy who is in the Packer record book. Matt Flynn, previously of Oakland, has a bruised ego and will not be playing in the near future.
Yeah, a bruised career for good. A very expensive one at that. I mean, I don't see him getting the Freeman, hey, you know, might have been the coaching situation. Let's give him another shot. That was, you sucked it on the Raiders. I mean, you just suck.
He made a lot of money to go to Seattle to get kicked out by Russell Wilson. Then he went down to Oakland, and you know Pryor's going to get beat up. That's why he went in there and sucked at the one game he played. Because you know, Pryor he's not going to last. But they're going to put some rookie behind him and see what happens with there. Mike McCarthy, of course, they come up, you know, hey, he was a great backup in his career that he had in Green Bay behind Rodgers, is what got him these, you know, journeyman number 2 positions. And like, we got Seneca Wallace, we're good.
Now he's in a permanent journeyman position. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Maybe he can go back up far down there coaching high school ball in Mississippi or something.
All right. Well, let's get right into your one-hit blunder segment, formerly the Ogletree, and wow. Let's hear your predictions. I mean, did your prediction come true from last week?
Kind of hit and miss. Danny Woodhead got 9 carries for 13 yards, which is exactly one-hit blunder one would expect. But he did, you know, it's a PPR league, third down back. He had 9 catches for 58, and he got a touchdown after Matthews got injured. You know, pure garbage time stuff. Like I said, San Diego's a mess going forward. He's going to be serviceable at best, probably, you know, since he's going to be on the field. But I don't know that I would be outside about plugging him into my starting lineup. He's going to end up doing the Eddie Royal thing and come out of the box, excite people, and then die among the Chargers. Wasteland that's out here. I don't understand it.
So who are your nominees? Who are your nominees this week?
I just got one nominee because I was unable to, with the early start of the show, to see who NFL Network was pimping. That's my favorite thing, is to watch them pimp players and then dissect and tell you why they're making a mistake by telling you. So what I will tell you, and it may come on the network, it may not, if anybody was still awake when the Chargers played Sunday night, a rookie kid named Keenan Allen was out there, 6 catches, 125 yards, and some really nice, you know, extension, acrobatic catches. He was able to get free, get separation. The kid's fast, but it was done in garbage time, and he's a Charger. So, when you see that Keenan Allen pop up there when you're looking for bye week coverage, and because he did what he did, he'll appear probably in receivers are available, just move on. Don't waste your time with him. I don't see anything coming out of him. I will probably, maybe while you guys are watching the game, I'll come up with a little bonus action for you and throw a blunder out there Thursday. But right now, this is the guy I got for you with no NFL Network to pick on. He was just someone I was able to find. Also, there are some good seats still available in San Diego. 10,000 seats for Monday's game.
Really?
We're gonna be blacked out on Monday Night Football. That hasn't happened since Atlanta got blacked out in 2000 against San Francisco.
You know they're not going to get blacked out. The NFL will buy the tickets and give them to some kids' charity, and you'll have 5 or 6 youth groups up in the upper deck. That's what you're going to have.
One would only hope. It's embarrassing when you can't sort of Monday Night Football game. I mean, the only reason they sold out the Houston game, the opener, was they got an extension to do that. And then the Dallas Cowboys had a home game in San Diego last week. So, yeah, they're not doing too well.
All right. Cool. We got about 15 minutes left. Let's get into some...
Good evening. For your information tonight...
No technical difficulties, knock wood. We can actually play our sound effects this week. Hey, Cash, you got one for us?
Yeah, you know, it's... I'm just kind of wondering if you guys think if the Browns can make the playoffs or be a playoff team without Brian Hoyer.
I think so. That's why I picked the beast I picked this week. I think Whedon will step up. He stepped up in the clutch last week, and I think he's gonna prove himself. What do you guys think?
Well, I don't know. I still give that division to the Bengals. I know that the Browns beat the Bengals, but I just think talent-wise, the Bengals are more stacked, and I don't know. To me, it'd be hard to see the Browns going all the way to the playoffs, but they are having a much better season than most people would expect.
What does your boyfriend say about the Browns? What can Browns do for you, right?
Oh yeah.
I give them an outside shot at a wild card, maybe, but I don't see them. They're not going to win the division, that's for sure.
Cool. Jenilee, you got an FYI?
Yeah, FYI, Tony Romo will always take the blame. It was just so funny to me how it's like the man puts up over 500 yards and 5 touchdowns. And granted, his interception was thrown, at the worst possible time. But there is the rest of the team that exists, and there's a defense that gave up 52 points that nobody is talking about. So it's nobody on the defense's fault, but it's all Romo's fault. And I just think that's sad. I don't know. It was funny to hear me, or for me to listen. I'm sorry, to Cowboys fans. Love Romo the whole game, and then just absolutely hate him. Poor Romo always gets the blame.
Yeah, I mean that game was fantasy gold. Manning goes 33 for 42, 414, 4 touchdowns, and then you have Romo go 25 for 36, breaks his career record, 506, 5 touchdowns. Des Bryant goes off, 6 receptions, 141. And then on the other side you have, O.J. Thomas, for crying out loud, Orange Julius over there, 9 receptions, 122 yards. All that action goes on. And, the story that comes out of it is Romo's the GOAT. He threw the pick, So.
Hey, he only threw 5 touchdowns and 500 yards. He should have stepped up his game a little bit, you think, maybe?
Yeah, man. Yeah. Okay, Mr. Sports Radio. Yeah.
Hey, if you just showed me his stat line and not showed me his score, I'd been like, wow, who did they kick the shit out of?
Yeah.
That would have been my response.
And exactly. He was the 7th quarterback in history to have 500 yards and 5 TDs. Our history now.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's over there asking Dallas fans, like, what the hell else can I do?
He's with his hot wife right now, not giving a crap and counting his money. That's what he's doing. And the other, it's also wonderful that such a hot game, everybody's watching it, and the thing that comes out of it, gossip-wise, is why the fuck does Jerry Jones still have a flip phone with all that money? I mean, it was crazy.
He's old. He doesn't know how to use a droid.
Exactly. Oh God, if you put anything but a flip phone in my mom's hand, who's close to his age, Jesus Christ, we'd have World War III. It's not a good thing. Prost, you got a FYI for us?
Yeah, it's nothing obvious. It should be fairly set up for the fantasy fans now. The Seahawks will never lose at home, but they are not the same team on the road. They got knocked out by Indy. They happened to win because Matt Schaub threw a winning touchdown in the game, his 3rd of 4 that he's done so far in a row. So, by all rights, Houston should have beaten Seattle. If Seattle's on the road, seriously consider benching a good number of their players. I don't think they're the same team when they get out of that dome or that pseudo dome that they have. That's a great field up in Seattle, but they're definitely a home-only team.
Yeah, they that it's the same problem they had last season. They just have trouble on the road. They can't get it together, and it's always in key matchups like this one. It's the Colts. Yeah, they're surging. They're doing well, but you need to win those games if you're going to make it into the playoffs and eventually get into the Super Bowl. My FYI this week is just passed today by the fine NFL, the Hard Knocks rule. FYI, everybody. Did everybody hear about this crap? It's
must-do TV.
Yeah, it's must-view TV, but it's now they're going to go around for volunteers, but there must be a team that does it, and if nobody will volunteer, somebody, unfortunately, like the Bears, will end up on this stupid show and end up having to walk around with cameras and crap. Yes, we love watching it, but I am sure those cameras and all of that crap, and having been a writer for these reality shows a few times, and having to write plot lines and pray something great happens. It's the most distracting shit in the world, and I mean, the Bengals have put up with it, and Cowboys have put up. Everybody's put up with it, and is my memory correct in the fact that none of the teams that have been on Hard Knocks have gone into the playoffs or gone very far?
No, it was Miami 2 years ago, and that's why I called it must-do TV. I was reading the story. HBO must give the NFL a ton of money because they've actually already got a format designed for how they're going to choose teams that are going to be forced onto this show.
Yeah,
they got it figured out already.
Yeah, I'm gonna go straight into shit in the bed here. We got 9 minutes to go. Because I really was pissed off at the other thing that the NFL approved, a third fucking London game, for crying out loud. Can you believe this crap, guys? Now 3 teams have to go play home games at Wembley next year. It's going to be Jacksonville, to be further punished, the Falcons to be further punished, and the Raiders to be further punished. For their crappy play, for crying out loud. Now they need to go but unfortunately there's going to be another 3 other teams that have to put up with the travel and the crap, and we already gave our argument about this. This isn't the World Football League. This is the National Football League, as in our nation. Keep it here. NFL Europe failed. Just stop with the idea. I mean, if you want to do it, do what your one experiment was 1 year. Go down to Mexico. I know you don't want to put up with the security problem you had down there again, but you sold out Mexico City. Go to Mexico. I can see that more. I mean, Canada. I can see Canada. It doesn't affect the time zone in the player's head. I mean, does this piss anybody off as much as it pisses me off?
Well, I think having one game over there is okay, but I mean, yeah, we're getting a little out of hand now with 3 games. That means 6 teams are having to go over there, and it's stupid.
It is stupid. I think that's the way to sum it up.
Well, what about the fans? Okay, you have 2 East Coast teams going over, which is about a 5-hour time zone difference, and you're sending Oakland over, which is an 8-hour time zone difference. But as an NFL fan buying season tickets, I already have to pay for 2 preseason games at regular season price that are at home. Now you're going to send my team to London, so I only get 7 games. I'm losing out on one of my games as a season ticket holder, so I'm pretty sure you're not flying me to London and getting me comparable seats at Wembley. So, it's a slap in the face to the fan base. I guess why they use crappy teams, because they don't care if they piss them off.
Yeah. Anybody else have any other shit the beds with a few minutes left here?
Yeah, I do. I actually been, it was one of the greatest games, of course, with the Dallas Cowboys and the Broncos in a 51-48 final score. But at the end of the game, after almost was an interception, there was certainly the opportunities there, and to try to either to totally stop the Broncos' offense, which likely wasn't going to happen. But the other thing, what possibility was when they wasted, the timeouts there, the Cowboys, they probably should have let them score a touchdown at that point, because Denver did the smart thing. They basically killed the clock and set up for a chip shot field goal. So I think it's bad coaching, and I'm for, not that I'm a Cowboys fan, of course, as you guys know, but I have been saying since last year, I think the Cowboys need a coaching change.
Yeah, well, they've been through a lot of them, so.
They need the change.
Yeah, that's what they need. They need that for sure.
Yeah.
An owner change.
And I have a shit the bed. Eli Manning shit the bed again, throwing interceptions. So, and I need him to shit the bed this week against us.
Yeah,
so,
I like that shit the bed prediction. That'll be a good one.
Yeah, I need him to shit the bed again. I don't know what is going on with him. Golly, he does not look like 2 Super Bowl, wins as a quarterback right now. Because how many interceptions does he have on the season?
A lot, and that's because
like
all he has to throw
15 or something crazy.
All he has to throw to is Randall and Cruz, and there's no running game, and there's no defense. So, I mean, sounds like a good perfect storm for us to have a goddamn great time at Soldier Field over by the lake over by there. We're going to get some Italian beefs and then head over there. That's right. Cash.
I hope, but I'm afraid that the Giants are just going to throw their hands up in the air and say, fuck it, and then some stupid magic is going to happen.
They're going to find themselves against us. A lot of teams are good at finding themselves against the Bears. Cash, take us out. One last shit the bed.
Last shit the bed. It's not really a shit the bed, but quick. Actually, I got one right back at you guys. Will the Jets make the playoffs this year at 3-2, sitting right now? Yes or no?
With their I have the same feeling of them as I do with the Browns. If their defense holds and they win and they continue to surprise, because
yes or no?
I think they'll make the playoffs. Fuck it. I'll roll the balls dice here. Why not? I'll roll the testicles. Sure. Anybody else? No.
They got a good chance to beat one. Sure, why not? Let's put them in there.
If we're putting the Jets in the playoffs, oh man, things just got really scary.
Hey,
well, so one year Ryan finally shut up and didn't say they were going to go, so maybe they actually will.
It is. He actually, he coached well for a fucking game on Monday Night Football. It definitely, everybody at the bar was going, this is the Twilight Zone, right? It's 17-7 at the half. What the hell is going on? And everybody's like, massive collapse by the Jets. No, they let them score, but not a lot, and then they held, and it was just unbelievable. So, what the hell? We've seen stranger shit happen in the NFL, for crying out loud. All right. Well, we are at the end of our show, guys. Everybody, thanks for all your awesome picks, and sorry about the shortened week, but Jenilee and I had to go to London, to play our game. So, and on that note, I'll see you in 2 days, Jenilee, for crying out loud.
Absolutely. So goodbye from Chi-Town.
Goodbye.
See you later.
All right. See you guys.
Hey, guys.
Have a good one.
Good night.
Bye.
Your balls are showing. There are 2 types of balls. There are big brave balls, and there are little meat balls. Dicks have drive and clarity of vision.
The most important piece of equipment is called the cup. Now, it ain't no Dixie cup, and it ain't no coffee mug. And you certainly won't want to be drinking nothing out of it.
Hey, any balls down there? That's the biggest berry you ever seen, Dingleberry.
Wow, I play with these balls all day.
Well, it's my balls and my word, and I don't break them for no one.
He's one of those guys who will get penetration.